Hey, movie friends. Well, first time watching Kill Bill, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and I can't stop thinking about three things. The film stars Uma Thurman and David Carradine, a former assassin on a revenge mission after she's left for dead. So this is in December 2025. The whole bloody affair, Kill Bill. Quentin Tarantino released the film originally, or was forced to release the film originally as two different movies, Volume 1, Volume 2. Always considered it one film, and now in December 2025, released it in many theaters, widely. 20 years later, the whole film, as intended, in one piece, 4 hours long, one intermission in the middle. So this is my first time seeing Kill Bill at all. It's the only Tarantino movie I hadn't seen. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Sometimes people tell me to watch things and I get a little rebellious. I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it, you know. But I love Tarantino, and maybe I was just waiting. Maybe this was just the right time and the right situation to watch the film this way. Maybe I subconsciously knew, even though I didn't know. But maybe I felt that he wanted this to be in one film, and I was just waiting until I got my shot, and I got it, and I took it. You gotta seize those opportunities. Although I did wait for quite a while. Anyway, it was amazing. The whole thing was amazing. So let me talk about the three things that I can't stop thinking about after watching it. Number one, this is the first thing I can't stop thinking about. Uma Thurman. Good Lord. Good Lord. She's so beautiful and talented and beautiful and talented. And there's so many great performances in this film, of course, but she is Kill Bill. You know what I mean? She's not Kill Bill. She's Beatrix, or her character. But she's the movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are other great performances. A lot of things happen that make this film great. But it's her. She's amazing. She's so good in it. And I'm really glad that she's getting kind of a renewed respect or like interest. Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill. There are many others. But like her in the 90s, and I want to say Gwyneth Paltrow. There's also others. I won't name them because I don't want to forget anyone. But they were some of my favorite actors or actresses, whatever we're saying, in the 90s. So it's great to see both of them actually in the year 2025 when this is being recorded, with Marty Supreme for Gwyneth Paltrow, and Uma Thurman getting, you know, the re-release of this film. She was amazing. You know what? The other thing is that watching her daughter, I think Maya, the one who's on Stranger Things, you can really see that it's her daughter. Isn't that cool? It's like the younger Uma Thurman looks a lot like her daughter, who's now on Stranger Things. At the time of this recording, 2025. Super cool. Uma Thurman, amazing. That's the first thing I can't stop thinking about, is how amazing she is. And I hope that she kind of gets back into the film stuff if she's not doing stuff already. Maybe she's behind the camera, I don't know, but I gotta see her in front of the camera. Okay, the second thing that I can't stop thinking about is, does this movie work or does it not work as one film as opposed to two films? Totally. It's amazing. Now, I don't have the reference. I didn't see them when they came out. I don't know why. It's just the only Tarantino film I hadn't seen up until this point. I'm a huge Tarantino fan. I just hadn't done it. You know, I can't really explain it. Just didn't happen. And sometimes when things build, that you just don't, I don't know, for me at least, I just push them away. I don't know, it gets built up, you know. People keep telling me it's the best one, or it's a great one. You got to see this. This was the perfect opportunity. So I don't really know if it works as two separate films, but it certainly fucking works as one film. But knowing only this version, I would never stray away from, this is the final cut to me. This is where you end it right here. It works. There are a few things I've heard that are different, like the animation scene for Lucy Liu's character's backstory is a little bit longer, and the fight scene in her dojo or restaurant is not in black and white, it's in color. Also, at the end of the first one, I've heard that David Carradine says, and there's spoilers in this, by the way, it's 20 years old, so you know this going in, but apparently David Carradine, I've heard his character Bill says, she doesn't even know the baby's still alive, or something like that, which wasn't in the whole bloody affair that I saw. And I think it's a good choice, because I thought it was a great ending, the way that it is. It totally works. Now, it's a long time, 4 hours in the theater, or if you're at home. I think you got to see it in the theater, though. The intermission definitely helps. Weirdly, in my experience of watching this film in Metro Detroit in December 2025, there are people who didn't come back from the intermission, and I kind of want to, what happened to them? Like, was there an emergency? I would hope there was an emergency, because I don't know how you would watch the first 2 hours and go, I get it. No, it was amazing. Now, 4 hours is a long time to sit in the movie theater or to sit at home and watch a movie, But I've said this before, y'all will sit and watch a full season of Battlestar Galactica or Stranger Things or whatever, binge, but 4 hour movie, that's 4 episodes. You haven't watched more than 4 episodes on a binge? You have, just like I have. So is it really that long? Does it matter what the time is? Like Oppenheimer, Boyhood, Interstellar, these are all great movies. Who cares about the time? You give me a 4 hour movie that should be 2.5 or 1.5, we got problems. Because I'm not going to sit there, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to sit and waste my time for something that wasn't edited properly or shot properly or whatever. But in terms of the length, as long as you put an intermission in there, that would be one thing that would be a problem if you didn't put that in there. But they did, so I think it works perfectly. I thought the thing flowed front to back so good. It was so interesting. He's just such an interesting filmmaker, isn't he? I know that he's borrowing some techniques from old kung fu movies, or especially Hong Kong films, or he's got certain styles of 70s. He loves the 70s. I do too. Sure, but it's great. It's not like every invention stands on the shoulders of previous inventions. Somebody said that. I don't know who that was. I don't remember. But that's true, right? I mean, it's one thing to plagiarize. It's another thing to be influenced by. And I don't get the impression that he's plagiarizing. It's just being influenced by. And I think that's totally fine. I don't see anybody else making anything like it. So show me somebody else who makes movies exactly like Quentin Tarantino. And, I'll show you a plagiarist for one. But I don't see anybody even coming close to it. So even though it's a re-release, and I hadn't seen it before, so it's so brilliant to sit in a theater and watch somebody who's got such a unique style and interest and, I don't know, just something to say. It was refreshing, considering what I think is a pretty weird time for movies where you don't tend to get that a lot. So it absolutely works as one film. All right, now the third thing I can't stop thinking about, and I'm not a comic book nerd, so please go easy on me here. But at the end, when Bill, played by David Carradine, shoots Uma Thurman with a truth serum dart, and she's sitting there waiting for it to take effect, he talks about gives some sort of an analogy, because he's trying to convince her that she's a killer. And she walked away from her true self, right? Trying to be this mom and this other thing, but she's an assassin. That's the point he's trying to make, that you're like me. I'm a killer, you're a killer. And the analogy is this, basically. A lot of superheroes, like let's take Batman, for example. They're Bruce Wayne, and then they become Batman and they go fight crime. They put on a suit. He also gives the Spider-Man analogy, which I don't know if it works, because wasn't Peter Parker bit by a spider and then it had some sort of weird, like he doesn't lose his powers when he doesn't have the suit on, right? He could be Peter Parker flying around, couldn't he? I don't think, if I misunderstood that, I'm sorry, but I think that part didn't work. But it doesn't matter. His point is that superheroes sometimes become superheroes, whereas Superman, as he puts it, is Superman, and Clark Kent is the alter ego. He flips it. No, he wakes up with the Superman outfit on. He is Superman. Clark Kent is the alter ego. He puts on the Clark Kent outfit to blend into humanity. And one of his points was that the reason Clark Kent is so timid and shy and weak and lacks courage is because that's how he sees humanity, right? He wants to blend in. He doesn't want to be discovered as some powerful, superhero. He wants to blend in so nobody suspects it. So he has to emulate what he sees around him. What he thinks of humanity is just this weak, cowardly group of nothings. But while I think it's interesting to think about the idea that Superman is the person and Clark Kent is the alter ego, which, as I understand it, was around 1986 when things shifted. Nerds, can you help me out here? It's like, it used to be that Superman was the person and Clark Kent was the alter ego, but somewhere around 1986 in the comic book world, somebody flipped it, and it's been like a battle and a crisis and a hot debate since then. And maybe that speaks to what I'm about to say, which is it does blow my mind because I hadn't thought about it before. So I must be a post 1986 Superman fan because I never thought of Clark Kent being the costume. And to be honest with you, for a couple of days, it really baked my noodle. Like I had to think about this. I thought it was brilliant as I'm hearing it. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I never thought about this before. But the more I researched it and the more I thought about it, the more I realized that he's really a scumbag who's talking about himself. Bill, not Superman. He's trying to pull Superman into his bullshit, basically. But if you don't respect humanity, why would you give a shit to save it? Do you know what I mean? And to me, that's where it kind of falls apart. Like, maybe he's trying to blend in and he's trying to make himself look like a normal person who's timid and shy and weak and doesn't have the courage or the cojones. But then why would he even bother going through all of that if he didn't think that humans were like some sort of valuable creature, like they weren't worth saving? What's the point of that? And I think this is going to change over time. But right now, my thinking is that Bill's just talking about himself, right? He's a killer who's trying to find some sort of narcissistic explanation for why he is and why it's okay how he is. And he drags Superman and others into this conversation when he doesn't probably really understand what they are or why they do it. Like, I wouldn't expect Kill Bill, to understand the greatness or the story of Superman as is. People like him are like someone who's so offended that a woman left them that they're going to go to their wedding. Think about how fucking sick this is, that you go to their wedding and kill everyone in the wedding party and then rip the baby out of the bride. I mean, you want to talk about weak? That's weak. So he's just trying to massage his ego and pull her into that world and say, you know what I'm saying. We're killers. We're the same, you and me. And it's like, no. You don't try to pull Superman and Beatrix all into this bullshit. You're just talking about yourself. I still have to think about this because I will admit that I do find his little theory interesting, or just theory, or just the way he thinks about it interesting. But no, miss me after a couple of days of thinking about it. Swing and a miss for me, because he's not, I think it's less about, it doesn't matter that he's using Superman as an analogy. Like, it's about him. It doesn't matter if he's talking about muffins or whatever, anybody else. It's about Bill. He's an egomaniac. Anybody who, think about that. How insecure and weak do you have to be to not accept someone breaking up with you? That's step one. And way down the line, somewhere in the further steps, is to show up and kill them and their wedding party. I mean, it's unthinkable, really. It's what drives the whole movie. Of course you're pulling for, because it's just so horrific what happens. So anyway, that's my Kill Bill experience. Uma Thurman, super fantastic and super hot. It works as one movie, and David Carradine's Superman analogy as Bill in Kill Bill doesn't hold up as far as I'm concerned. It's interesting. I love the little switcheroo you did there, but it says more about Bill, I think, than anything else. So that's my experience. Did you see it, or have you seen Volume 1 and Volume 2 together? But it wouldn't be the same, would it? Like, because there'd still be things that would happen in those. So I wonder if he's going to release it as one, the whole bloody affair. I'm so glad I saw it. I waited way too long, and literally I rushed out the door. I think on the last day that it was in theaters. It was like, I had like 30 minutes to get there. Sometimes you see a movie and you think, I should go see that, but I should work. I should do this. And the fact that it's 4.5 hours, that's your day. let's face it, it's not your whole day, but it's a good chunk. You gotta, by the time you get there or whatever, you're talking about maybe 5.5 hours of one thing. So anyway, I thought it was great. What did you think? Let me know. Let's hear it in the comments. What do you think? What do you think about my analysis of the Superman story by Bill, the analogy? Am I close? I really would like to know, because I'm not a comic book person. I always wanted to be, but I'm just not gonna do it. I'm sorry. Anyway, Kill Bill, amazing.